Hello, welcome to my presentation of Hypothetical Learning and Teaching episode. I made a sequence of 3 40-minute lesson plans for Year 8 students learning Japanese language in a school in Sydney. The topics include sharing information about school facilities, giving directions with a school map, and asking preferences about school subjects. If you look at the lesson plan overview, you can see that the topics, objectives, and resources are related to each other and that the previous learning contents are recycled and reused for longer retention and effective learning. The classroom consists of 24 students who have been studying Japanese for at least a year, and their proficiency level will range from beginner to intermediate. As Japanese is their chosen elective, they will be generally keen on learning it. On top of that, the class will proceed in small group formation of 4 students with mixed levels. The more advanced students can take the role of a leader or a peer tutor for the students who are still poor at reading Japanese alphabets. The main aim of this lesson is for students to acquire the target structure and vocabulary while utilizing them in a meaningful way. For making an authentic and meaningful context, I chose communicative topics related to school life. Second, I incorporated pair and group activities as well as teacher modeling with the whole class so that students will have many opportunities to interact with each other to practice the language. Finally, in order to cater for diverse learner types, I used audio and visual resources, ICT tools, and activities such as moving around the classroom for kinesthetic and active learners. As you can see in this slide, I generally start the class with an audio and visual aid such as video and pictogram cards with native speaker's voice. I plan my lesson to contain principles of constructivism, metacognitive strategies, concepts of reaching ZPD, motivational strategies, and differentiation tactics. Constructivists contended that learners actively acquire new knowledge while interacting with the reality and people around them. The principles of constructivism are that first, learning by doing is central. Second, learners are self-regulated. Third, social interaction is necessary for effective learning. Accordingly, I incorporated activities matching to these principles. For example, in the first lesson of asking and giving information about school facilities, I make students learn the language by doing. To be specific, students in pairs will assume roles of a school guide and a visitor from a Japanese school. And while walking along the attached photos on classroom walls, they will actually use the language they learned for sharing information. Moreover, at the end of each lesson, students will keep a learning log to review what they learned and what they want to know more. This activity will facilitate students' metacognitive skills and their ability to monitor and control their learning. Another strategy for improving metacognitive abilities is to go through the learning objectives at the beginning of a lesson. By letting students know what they are expected to learn and achieve, they will be able to think ahead, monitor their learning, and process the contents better. Vygotsky argued that it is important for the educator to help students achieve their ZPD through scaffolding. Likewise, language acquisition theorists such as Krashen highlighted the importance of giving students comprehensible, yet a little challenging input for meaningful learning. Applying these principles, I selected the target structures and learning objectives to be a little more difficult than the students' supposed previous knowledge. For this, I referred to the NSW syllabus for Japanese to measure students' levels and plan the 3 lessons in the way that students review and recycle the previously learned expressions while adding new structures to them. The UDO approach has 3 main principles of providing multiple means of representation, action and expression, and engagement. Similarly, Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences reminds us that we need to consider the various dimensions in students' abilities. Considering these principles, I used various resources and multiple modes of input and presentation, including videos, gestures for demonstration, pictogram vocabulary cards, and Quizlet word games. Second, I also consider students' diverse levels from beginners to bilingual Japanese speakers. Nessa describes the stage statements and different learning contents for background speakers of Japanese. Accordingly, I provided alternative tasks or contents for such students. The principles of both behavioral and cognitive motivational theories are incorporated in my lesson. For example, students will try to actively participate in the group competition for the excitement of the game as well as for the points they will earn. On the other hand, I also implemented autonomy supportive strategies from the principles of self-determination theory. For example, Lesson 3 includes the personalized activities asking for each other's preferences, which are closely related to school life. By coordinating instruction with students' preferences or interests in this way, I can nurture their inner motivational resources. As the lessons introduced here assume hypothetical teaching situations, I have yet to find out the effectiveness of my teaching methods. Still, I will be able to find out the effectiveness of the lesson through students' learning log when conducting the actual lesson. Moreover, I will be able to provide meaningful and engaging learning by setting appropriate level of contents and personalizing the tasks and contextualizing the target language used for their school life. On the other hand, the possible limits in the lesson for improvement is that, first, some of the motivational aspects rely on behavioral principles, and second, that the level of the target language structure may not cater for the higher level of bilingual students. For tackling these weaknesses, I will try to facilitate students' intrinsic motivation more with adequate feedback and encouragements. In addition, I will provide authentic language materials with explanations and supports for various levels.